Hello, fellow gardeners. Well, we're coming to you from in the house today because it's hot outside, and I didn't want to go outside and sweat making this video, and neither did Judy. So forgive us. We're not in the greenhouse. We're out here in the air-conditioned house. So we're going to answer some questions today. It's probably going to get long enough. We'll probably make this part 1, 2, and 3, I imagine, because I don't want to bore you by sitting here telling you all these things for an hour. You don't want that, and due to thing, our memory span's only about 15, 20 minutes anyway, you know, for listening and remember what they're saying. So a lot of you have called in and text in different ways, ask us different questions that we'd make some videos of. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to answer some questions, and some of you that are professional, you know, of this growing, why you may not even enjoy this, and you might sit there and listen at me and see how many mistakes I make and correct me on it, because I know I've been guilty of that before in the past. Whenever I talked about fertilizer, I'm not a scientist of chemicals, and so therefore I made a judgment I thought was right, but it wasn't quite right. Anyway, the question number 1 is, how many plants in a 5-gallon bucket can you grow? In one of these wicking buckets where we've put a jug in the bottom of it and 6 soda pop bottles and punched a hole up here at 5 or 6 inches up and put potting mix in it. And now then they want to grow for the children, or for in an apartment, or on a patio, or somebody just don't want big tubs. They'd rather have just 5-gallon buckets. I'm going to go through this. You won't be able to write these down as fast, I'll tell you, but you can go back and listen to it and write them down. So in a 5-gallon bucket, we recommend 1 pepper plant. We'll recommend 1 tomato plant, or 1 squash plant, maybe 3 lettuce, 3 spinach, 3 green beans, 3 okra, about 20 carrots, 20 to 30 radishes, and then you'll start pulling in between those, you know, the ones that are getting a little bigger, you pull them out and makes a little more room for other radishes, and about 20 or 30 green onions, because you can always pull the green onions and leave the onions spaced about every 3 to 4 inches and to make the big onions. Okay, now in the tubs, that was in a 5-gallon bucket. Now in the tubs, 3 peppers, 1 to 3 tomatoes. Now, I grow 1 tomato. If you're growing determinate tomatoes, 1 tomato will fill a tub up completely. Now, if you're growing indeterminates and you want to trim the side suckers off of them and just grow them up stems, and you can put about 3 in there. Either put them in 3 in a row down a line that you're, like we did, used to, you know, a couple, 3 years ago, or you can put them in a triangle and make them go up to something that's going up high. And so anyway, 1 to 3 tomatoes. If it's determinate, 1. If it's indeterminate, you're going to prune them, you can put up to 3. 1 squash is about all I recommend, unless you're going to let them lay over the side. Now, we had our tubs, you know, touching, and so we put 1 squash in each one, and they still filled a solid row up down through there. But if you got it just individually spaced 4 or 5 foot apart, then you can put about 3 squash in, let them hang down off the sides and on the ground. You know, if that's the way you want to do it. About 7 lettuce is all. You can go about 6 around outside and 1 in the middle. Same way with spinach. Same way with green beans, about 6 around outside and 1 in the middle. You know, if you're going to be pole beans, then you got to take the strings and tie up for them to go up. But if it's bush beans, about 7 is what you use. Okra, you can put 7 in there, if you 6 around outside and 1 in the middle, if you're going to trim all them big leaves off. If you're not, and you're just going to let it grow, about 3 is all you can put around there. 3 on the outside, and it still fills it up tight. But you can trim a lot of them leaves off and get by with it, because you're producing up here in the top, and then on your side shoots that go out, and you can cut them leaves off where them side shoots right there where they bloom. Anyway, that's kind of help you a little bit. I know if you got anything else in particular, I mean, 1 blackberry, 1 blueberry, one raspberry, one fig, I don't know what else you'd want to grow in there in bushes. One fruit tree in the tubs. In the bucket, you can't grow hardly any of them. Now, you can grow a fig or a blackberry in there for a couple of years and then transfer it over into the tub, one plant per tub, and grow them in there. And I recommend you doing some of that. You know, figs, we're going to talk about figs a little bit in another episode when we get outside out here. Wonderful to grow in a tub. Blackberries wonderful. Blueberries are wonderful. So we'll talk about them as we grow them again. We'll talk about them outside. Now then, I got something I just have thought of it come across my mind. We're out of those big yellow tomato seed that we've been giving out. Thank y'all for responding. We give all of those thousands of seeds out that our friend, you know, up north that grows that thing developed it. Of course, his dad and mother developed it, but you know, a couple of years ago, his dad died of the morning, his mother died in the evening, and they didn't know each other had died. They both had dementia, so I still feel for that brother up there that sent all them seeds that his daddy developed, and he's growing them, and he's probably going to grow some this next year and send us some more. But those of you that got your seeds now, you're responsible to send us back some of those seeds out of your biggest yellow tomato. A lot of people didn't do it. Maybe they didn't make any tomatoes, but we had some kiddos on board that did. Even some of them sent us the big old tomatoes back in a box, and we had to save our own seeds. We don't recommend that, but just take us pictures and see how big they are, weigh them and tell us, and then take the seeds out and dry them and send them to us in an envelope like that. It makes it a lot easier on us and you too. Well, I guess it's a little more work on you, but anyway, that's your responsibility to get those seeds dried out and send them back to us. And we're... Yeah, that was a 2-pound tomato that he grew, over 2 pounds. Lots of them. So anyway, we'll have that next year, hopefully, if everybody helps us. While we're on that same thing about seeds, now we had a little daycare up in close to Missouri, Arkansas, in the corner up in there, and they take care of, I don't know, 8 or 10 or 12 of those kiddos. And they raised bird nest gourds. Big old gourds, you know, that made you bird nest out of. Well, they sent us a bunch of those seeds. Now, we still have some of those seeds on hand. And if you want to call or text Sherry at 580-564-2166, she will send you and your kiddos, or just if you're a grown-up or whatever, 3 or 4 of those seeds. That's all you need. And get them to come up, put them on a fence. They'll grow up and have them big old birdhouse gourds hang down. You can make dipper gourds out of them, or you can for birdhouses. But they're for free. If you just send us tell us what give us your address, and I'll give it to Sherry, and she'll take care of it for you. Or if you want to, you know, you can call her and get her address and send her a self-addressed envelope if you want to do that. Save us the post. I mean, it gets pretty expensive when we're sending out hundreds of those at a time. But anyway, whatever you want to do, we don't ask for donations. Now then, back to the next question. How long to leave fruit trees in wicking tubs? Well, I've grown figs, I've grown blackberries, blueberries, fruit trees like plums, apricots, peaches, stuff like that, and you can use them about 3. Sometimes you can stretch 4 years. That if you didn't take good care of them, but most of the time about 3 years, and they're ready to either be put out over in the ground or in a bigger tub than the totes we're talking about, the tubs we're talking about. So that's about how long you can do there. Now then, somebody asked how to winter trees or bushes in a wicking tub. Well, down here in the South, we just leave them out. You know, I know it's might freeze down in there. They're concerned about that water freezing in the bottom. But let me tell you something about water in a container. If you just have a container full of water, yes, it'll freeze and expand and burst that tub or concrete barrel or trough or whatever you've got. But if you've got some kind of containers in there, or a board stuck down in there, or that PVC that we fill our tubs with, that 1-inch PVC or 1.25 inch, then when it freezes, that water will not freeze and expand in one big container. It's got different pieces and it doesn't crack your tub. Now, on up north where you get way below zero or cold and stay there for 3 or 4 months, that's a different situation. You need to insulate them roots especially. You can either take them inside of your garage and then bring them out in early spring. Because now let me tell you, these trees and bushes, they have to have so many chill hours before they will bloom to make you fruit. Because I learned that by experience. I left some plum bushes. I had them outside, left them all winter, and they bloomed and had wonderful plums all over them. We picked a lot of plums off of them in a container. Well, the next year I got smart. I thought I was going to put them inside and let them get started leafing out earlier in the spring, and I'd have plums before anybody else did. I left them in that high tunnel all winter long, didn't expose them to no heat, just it closed up in a high tunnel. I want you to know they leafed out early, but they never did bloom because I did not give them any chill hours. You've got to get them out in the cold and let them have so many chill hours. And I can't tell you exactly how many chill hours unless I know the variety, and I don't want to even help you there, but you just Google that. How many chill hours does, a Moore Park apricot need? And Siri will tell you that, or Google will. Use that Google, and I'm going to tell you.
This may not be a big surprise, but I'm an Apple fan.
She's over helping me now, Google it. Siri's helping me when I'm talking to you. Anyway, that's all right. I've got to have that phone, Mama. Don't run off with it. I've got to have it here in a minute. But anyway, she was going to help me on that. But you can Google or ask Siri, and she can answer so many of these questions for you right there and give you a more definite answer than I can. I mean, I'm not a college graduate. Yes, I've raised food for 80 plus years. I know a little bit about it. I didn't ever take any science or anything in chemicals and all, so it's just trial and error that I've come up with what I do. I've had some help from like Steve Upson over at Noble Research and some of the other chemists that call me and say, Leon, you said it wrong on there when you talked about your fertilizer. So anyway, I try to not get too off a definite because there's scientists out there that can tell me, prove me wrong, they think. Or they do, I mean. Anyway, so up north, you need to put them inside or either insulate the tubs. Now, we're going to cut this off right here. This is part 1 that we're putting out today. We'll come back and give you another part 2 the next Sunday, so just stay tuned. Hey, subscribe. It helps us with our children's programs, because we send every child that will grow in a container and send me pictures and tell me when the season is over for them. I will send every child a check, promise you, if I know about it and you tell me about it. Now, if you just don't tell me and they just wind up their season and we don't know anything about it, then we can't send it. But if you'll get in touch with me, my telephone number's on every video we put out. Mickey's coming to help me, okay. Well, anyway, we want to thank you for this and subscribe, please. Ring the bell and give me some comments if you want to. We get a chance to read some of them this time of the year. And we'll make you another video next Sunday. Thank you.